Welcome to the first episode in a Legendarium series about medieval trade. In Part 1, The Heirs of Augustus, we will talk about how Constantinople served as a hub for international trade during the early Middle Ages. The Roman Empire presided over a vast network of international trade. Though its connections to Han China via the Silk Road are best known, Rome also had naval trade with India via the Red Sea, and the taxes upon that rich trade financed the legions. Additionally, the empire had routes that connected their African holdings with the trans-Saharan trade and the East African coast. Yet even during the crisis of the 3rd century, trade in the West went into decline as travel became less safe. Of course, while the Roman Empire fell in the West, it survived in the East, centered on Constantinople. Ships carried out trade over vast distances, with most of the sailing restricted to the months of April to October when the weather was good. On land, the old Roman road system was put to good use, and so by these two means goods traveled from one end of the empire to the other. They also arrived from faraway places such as modern-day Afghanistan, Russia, and Ethiopia. Constantinople became one of the largest trade hubs in the world. Shoppers could stroll down covered streets and purchase anything from Bulgarian linen to Arabian perfume. Neither the Orthodox Church nor the imperial monarchy regarded trade highly. Indeed, they considered it undignified for landed aristocrats to pursue trade. For example, Emperor Theophilus burned an entire ship and its cargo when he found out that his wife Theodora had financial connections with the vessel. East Roman art often portrayed traders, merchants, and moneylenders who cheated their clients as inhabiting the lower levels of hell. In part because of this mistrust of entrepreneurs, emperors strictly enforced the standardization of weights, measures, and prices. Officialdom weighed heavy goods using steel yards and weights. To weigh lighter goods like spices, they measured them out using weights of copper, alloy, or glass. These weights had inscriptions of their equivalent value in gold coins, and officials checked them regularly. Yet for all the mistrust heaped upon their heads, merchants still moved immense quantities of goods, and this trade helped to finance the lavish lifestyle of emperors and the aristocracy. From Egypt and Greece, they exported olive oil, wine, honey, and wheat, still using the terracotta amphora as the preferred storage vessel. This practice dated back to Roman times. Additionally, Constantinople served as a pottery workshop, manufacturing slipped red-bodied ceramics with stamped or applied decorations. Later pieces would be glazed with lead. East Roman merchants sent these goods to modern-day Afghanistan for lapis lazuli, ivory and glassware from India, linens from Bulgaria, and amber from the Baltic. The Amber Road connected the southern Mediterranean to the Baltic coast. It required Roman merchants to travel hundreds of miles overland. After that, they had to negotiate with temperamental chiefs for great hunks of fossilized aromatic tree sap. This trade route actually extended back in history all the way to the Bronze Age. For the most part, East Roman trade focused eastwards and southwards, yet the Constantinople merchant captains also ventured to Britain, a part of the Western Empire overrun by the Germanic migrants. Tin could be found in a Cornish stronghold fittingly called Tintagel, which would later enter legend as the birthplace of King Arthur. Between the 5th and 7th centuries, a prosperous community emerged there, trading with the Mediterranean world. Within this remote settlement, at the edge of the known world, local kings built as many as 100 buildings together with garden plots and trackways. Laborers brought imported goods from Constantinople up the path leading from the natural quay at Iron Gate. Large pots called amphorae contained wine or olive oil traded for tin. Local lords often stayed there and maintained a feasting hall. Additionally, East Roman silver, embroidery, and religious iconography found its way onto the person of Saxon and Frankish lords. Such kings often ruled out of large feasting halls made out of timber and thatch where their bully boys slept on the floor. Yet they did have their East Roman bling to give them the prestige of Caesars. In order to get it, these barbarian warlords simply captured young men and women in war, then sold them further south. Sizable slave markets emerged at Verdun, Arles, and Lyon. They did a substantial, if irregular, trade in captives. Another remote outpost on the edge of the world also came into its own around this time. Around the year 600 AD, the citizens of the northern Italian cities of Aquileia and Padua fled, fighting between the East Romans and the Goths. There they joined local fishing villages in what would become known as the Venetian Lagoon. The locals, protected by small bodies of salty water, which made a natural moat, created an artificial foundation by driving wooden piles into the water and covering them with earth, thus creating the city of Venice, which would become the greatest merchant capital of the Middle Ages. That wraps things up for this episode of The Legendarium. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, press like. If you want to see more, press subscribe. And if you've got anything to say, let me know in the comments section. Thanks again for joining me, and I hope that you have a great rest of the day.